of an older age is the parent, and we need to have faith in that. And I think you're talking about the community of parents.
That's exactly right.
I mean, but I would say this, that one of the challenges that the chancellor has and others who work managing the school system is how do you understand not just the needs of those who are articulating their desires and their demands, but how do you understand what is the voice of the voiceless? And the honest to God truth is that Hebrew Language Academy, just as an example, but this is true of new schools across the city, they don't yet have students in their school. They don't have a school community yet that can come to a meeting and provide their perspective on this. And what we can say is that someone, and we need to have the same trust in those parents that we have in you and in other parents, I'm making the assumption you're a parent, they've said we want to send our children, their most precious gift, to that school. And I do think we need to listen to that voice too. That's,
I'm just a little suspicious that we're handed something that says we're going to give you what you want, but you're going to have to take this first. And not only that, I've been to Community 15, Community 18, and other civics association meetings, and nobody has ever brought this topic up until the last month or so. I was wondering why it was such a hidden fact that there was going to be a charter school placed in there, and how come nobody from DOE ever reached out to anybody from the community to ask their input. That's all. It's always been a community that cares about their neighborhood. And we're not fighting you upon this school. We think, you know what, if you say you need this school, that's fine. Just be very careful where you place it. Because what you're doing is you're letting everybody who's had these hopes up to have this school for the last 3 years, letting them down and force-feeding that. We'll give you what you want, but you have to have this also. It's just not fair.
So, and this is the communication issue that I spoke about before, which I regret and I take responsibility for. It was clear the minute that we started talking with the Community Education Council about it, with your elected officials about it, that things that we had thought were communicated were not, and we need to take responsibility for that. I mean in earnest my reasoning behind why a 612 won't work in a school building of that size. But look, even if I don't know, 1/100th about, I am a Brooklynite, but I'm not from this part of Brooklyn, about your community. I even myself know things like the high schools. I know where your children in this neighborhood go to high school because I can see that from where I work. I know that it's far away. I know that it's overcrowded. And I know those are things I'd like to change, even though I don't know the community that well. So I have every reason to want the high school for my own purposes and for the purposes of the city, just as the community members want it so much, and we're committed to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a microphone up here if you feel you need to use a microphone. You're up.
Here's the mic. If you could start the high school 2 years, why not start it next year and move the HLA to another appropriate location? 2010, it's too late for my daughter, and my daughter is my most precious possession. So that I'm trusting the Department of Education.
She's been here.
Make my daughter get on the bus to go to high school, when we can have one right in our community where she can walk there. It saves on busing, it saves on other expenses for the DOE as well. So I don't understand at all. Your reasoning does not make sense. It's illogical.
And I'm assuming you're saying my reasoning on why we're starting in 2010.
Exactly.
Well,
we could start the small high school now then.
Yeah.
You have the classes, you're telling me you have the promise. Starting now, this is what you've been asking what we want. Why give us something we didn't ask for? We asked for
one of the roles of my office too is to set a standard for the instructional program of schools. I'm a high school teacher, not a middle school teacher. But one thing I do know is I've got a lot of friends and colleagues who have gone from the middle school level to the high school level. And as those of you who are high school parents know, it is an entirely different ballgame. you need to understand the intricacies of the Regents curriculum, for instance. And if you are doing a music performing arts focused program, you need to understand how programming that kind of program intersects with the standards that the state and that the city have for schools. And so the reason I say that is, and I understand completely your urgency, and I don't have an answer that's necessarily going to satisfy everything. What I do have is this. I know that after having developed 400 schools in our office, it takes a significant amount of time to establish a vision that is the vision necessary to build a new high
This
school.
vision came quickly.
And we have not yet walked through that process with the principal.
This vision was thrown at us.
What is the purpose of a choice? Failing. We're not failing.
So they have the staff.
Where's the district?
So I don't understand what you need. What is staff next to the school already in place by the principal?
You need a vision. You need an instructional plan. And you need to have worked with the Department of Education to ensure that every single, I'm committing to start, that every single nut and bolt that goes into building that school is there. And I'm just going to be candid. The reason that graduation rates in this city have increased, the reason that we saw in this district, as well as the other 32 districts, although the schools here are already incredibly high performing, even more gains, is because one thing we refuse to compromise on, even if it means sometimes disappointing people, is crossing all T's and dotting all I's and making sure that the schools meet the standards, especially new schools into the system.
We have a number of people. No. You had a question already, ma'am. We're going to go down. This woman right here. You're next after that man in the back with the red jacket on. Then here, then that gentleman in the back. All right? I'll go to the next round of questioning. You'll be next. All right? Right here.
My neighbor's daughter was accepted through the lottery. She came here and signed her up for the charter school and was told it was going to be at Marine Park. So how was the proposal? And this is what she was told.
I don't know what, you asked your question, I'm going to answer your question.
The principal is here every day signing up children, so how do you explain this?
Well, the school needs to sign up youngsters.
Tell the
And
truth. Why would you lie to a mother and
the,
say that your little baby's going to be in Marine Park and now she's not going to? So
clearly,
lying is a lying.
somebody didn't frame the comment appropriately to let the parent know that it is a proposed subject. You know, look. I've said it. I'm saying it one more time, and I don't want to disrespect anyone, but the reality is I'm here to try to bridge this and to speak truth, and I'm listening to you. So if you all can listen to me, you know, I'm not going to say that somebody out there didn't frame it as a proposal one way or the other. I wasn't in that. I wasn't in that discussion. I can't speak for what happened in that discussion. I'm here to say that it's a proposal. And there are two things that could happen that would be different from this proposal. One, the school goes somewhere else. Two, the school doesn't open. And the third option would be the school opens and we agree to this proposal. I want you to understand how serious our commitment is to when parents say, this is the education that we want for our children, and challenge us to see, do you have the resources to carry it off? We take that very seriously. Just as we are with the high school, so too are we with Hebrew language. If we have the resource, we believe this school passes the standard necessary to provide an outstanding education to kids, and we're going to do it if we have the resources. And so the question in front of us is it the right thing to do, given the resources that we have?
That's
What was the question?
Why would the principal tell her her child was accepted for the lottery, came here, signed her up, and said it's going to definitely be in Marine Park?
You know, wasn't there in the conversation. I can't account for why it is. I'm saying in public, in front of cameras, and everybody else, this is a proposal. This is a proposal.
For weeks doing it.
Who is that?
It's important that we get some answers, and we are. But it's also important that you're there on the 20th.